everyone, welcome back. This is Ozzy from Ozzy Rants, and I am done with my exams. So that means more uploads for you guys. Anyhow, how are you all doing? I'm doing really good. I got done with exams this 20th. Got done with my offline exams, but I still have online ones going on. I have two tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. By the time I post this video, those exams will be already done. So they'll go good. I know. Anyhow, so I started a new book yesterday. This is If We Were Villains by Emil Rio. And you guys know how much I love the secret history. Like, secret history, meri jaan hai abhi, literally. So I started this because this is highly recommended for people who love secret history. And I was like, okay, let's give this a try because, like, secret history is amazing. And I literally love it with all my heart. So, anyhow, I started a new series in my previous video that was a summary of all the classic novels and Shakespearean plays. And today we're gonna be talking about a book which I don't know if you guys study it in school, but like it is a classic. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. You've seen the movie, you've seen everything, probably you've read the book even. But for those of you who haven't, this video is for you. Anyhow, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde tells the story of a vain young man named Dorian who wishes for eternal youth and beauty. Who wouldn't? But like, there's consequences, obviously. His wish is granted, but at a terrible cost. The portrait Basil Hallward paints of him ages and bears the marks of Dorian's sins, while Dorian himself remains unblemished. So basically, mar nahi sakta. And there's this picture of him which will carry all of his blemishes and will show that he is aging. Like, that is weird. You're not supposed to age in physical years, but a portrait of you will definitely age. So here's a brief summary. Now, the intrigue and influence. The story begins with Basil Hallward, a devoted artist, enthralled by the beauty and innocence of Dorian Gray. Lord Henry Wotton, a cynical and hedonistic friend, introduces Dorian to his philosophy of aestheticism, emphasizing the pursuit of pleasure and beauty above all else. Now, aestheticism. You've obviously seen all of those aesthetic videos going around today. Considering my background, you'll probably know that I am a bit into that thing as well. But like, to give up your whole life just to remain pretty, doesn't make sense. You're basically a vampire. So, a fair bargain. Dazzled by Lord Henry's ideas, Dorian utters a wish that he may remain young and beautiful while the portrait takes the burden of his age and ugliness. His wish is granted, marking the beginning of his descent into darkness. And that, folks, is how he basically loses his mind, starts a war with himself, basically, and is basically against everyone's wishes. So, a life of indulgence. Dorian embarks on a life of hedonism, indulging in every vice and temptation, while remaining outwardly pristine. Meanwhile, the portrait becomes increasingly disfigured, reflecting his moral decay. Now, obviously, this dude is aging. This dude is aging as the years pass by, the time is catching up to him, but on his physical being, that is not catching up. वो नहीं दिख रहा उसके physical body पे. But एक portrait है, उस पे जरूर दिखेगा. Because as we said, it's basically a representation of him as he ages and lives through life. So, love and tragedy. Dorian falls in love with an actress named Sybil Vane, but his cruel treatment drives her to suicide. This event further stains the portrait and deepens Dorian's sense of guilt and despair. I mean, you force yourself, you force someone to off themselves. Like, you've basically thought out this idea that you love them, but in fact it was torture for them, and then they off themselves. So, obviously, it's gonna have like a stain on your moral conscience, and inadvertently, it did affect Dorian. While he remained physically fine, his portrait was getting worse as it was. So, confrontation and despair. As years pass by, Dorian's reputation becomes tarnished by rumors of his wicked deeds. Driven by paranoia and fear of exposure, he attempts to destroy the portrait, believing it holds the key to his salvation. Now, this dude is basically losing his mind. He's doing every single thing he can to destroy the portrait because he thinks that once he destroys the portrait, he will destroy himself. But that does not happen. So, in a twisted ending, in a climactic moment, Dorian stabs the portrait, intending to kill his inner demons. However, the knife strikes him instead, and he dies, instantly transforming into a withered old man, while the portrait returns to its original youthful state. Now, this whole bargain was basically Dorian giving up his portrait, giving up his, you know, immortality to live a life of pleasure, his own aging process, to live a life of pleasure and youth and just enjoy it overall. Now, this dude is pretty guilty because, like, he killed someone. Obviously, that's gonna drive you, that's gonna make you mad. But yeah, he's getting paranoid because the whole public is knowing about his deeds. सबको पता चल चुका है क्या कर रहा है, what he's doing. So he thinks कि portrait को destroy करना is a good thing. But what he forgets is that the portrait is himself. Like it's basically a representation of his true self. So once he stabs the portrait, like the he instantly dies because well, portrait is him. He is the portrait. That's his true representation. So he killed his true representation, and in doing so, he also killed himself. And the portrait is now back to its original state, जैसे वो बनी थी, and he is now the portrait. He's a physical representation of what the portrait used to be, and the portrait is a representation of what he used to be. So this is confusing. I know it is confusing, but it is very amazing if you read this novel. So themes explored in the novel include the Faustian bargain, sorry, the danger of sacrificing morality for personal gain, the nature of beauty, the transience of physical beauty and the importance of inner beauty, the influence of art, the power of art to reflect and influence reality, the concept of the double, the divided self, and the struggle between good and evil. As we say in the book world, morally grey. So, The Picture of Dorian Gray remains a captivating and thought provoking novel, exploring the dark side of human nature and the consequence of unchecked desires. I hope this summary is helpful. If you'd like to know more about a certain aspect of the book, kindly ask down in the comments below because, like, I love this book. It is annotated. These are the annotation tabs I use, and I am literally in love with this book. But moving on, current read. This is Viva Villains. This is also like a remake of The Secret History, except they're all actors in a theater. So it's supposed to be dramatic. I mean, there's a lot of Shakespeare in this, which is driving me crazy because translating Shakespeare is no easy task, especially doing it at 1 a.m. But anyhow, that is how I am doing. How are you all doing? Kindly comment down below. Show some love to this video. Like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload. And so, thank you so much for the subscribers. I know I'm almost to 200, but hopefully by the time this video comes out, we'll already be at 200. So, see you soon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Love you.